This program is sponsored by Rotterdam Pride, Dare to Unite.
Good evening, ladies, gents, everything in between, non-binary friends. We're back in Rotterdam with Pride Summerweek the 010 edition. And today we're gonna do Pride and Gender. We're halfway, well, past halfway. We did religion, we did sports, and we did entertainment. And we still have some really cool topics for you to see. So watch us during Rotterdam Pride Week. Pride and Gender, what are we gonna do today, Warner?
Today we have an amazing show for you, talking about gender. We're going to split it up in two. First, we're going to talk to two people who consider themselves as
non-binary.
Exactly. And after that, we're going to talk to two people who identify themselves as trans. And we've been saying to each other as well, yes, we have a little bit of an age difference. Yeah. It's not much, probably about 6 months. But we don't know that much about these pronouns, about gender identification, because we don't have that situation.
And you know what I like the most about it? It's not even knowing the content about the gender identification or the pronouns, or it's about seeing people being so open-minded and so non-judging. Which for me and for my generation is freeing. So I cannot wait.
Yes,
Bring
exactly.
Them in. Let's go to the couch. As you can see, this weather is unbelievable in the Netherlands. If you think what's happening to his head, well, it's warm. And we don't have that often, but Rotterdam Pride is a week to get hot.
Well, we have two guests, and we would like to ask you if you could introduce yourself and maybe tell us what your pronouns are, how we should address you.
And before we do that, like we just addressed at the table, we're learning. So very open-minded, but have a little patience with this old man, and open for everything. So and let's have a very nice conversation also for the people at home.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm Ivana, I'm 18 years old and I use all pronouns, so you can call me he, she, they, it really doesn't matter what you call me, and I am non-binary. I don't see myself as a boy or a girl, and I fit somewhere in between of that.
Okay.
My name is Tengbéh Kamara, and I am 25 years old. I'm also non-binary, but I prefer they, them pronouns and none of the other pronouns.
Okay. I think it's important to say that if we're going to mess that up, please correct us. That would be nice. So what is your background? Because can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, where you're from, etc., to get to know you a little bit better?
I live in the Rotterdam area. I work in a local restaurant and I'm still in high school. My mom is Ukrainian and my dad is Dutch, so I'm half Ukrainian. And I have a brother and I live with my mom because my parents are divorced.
Ah, okay.
We should invite you to Pride Politics as well.
Yeah, yeah, right now with Ukraine.
Not to be funny about it, because it's horrible. But
it's a horrible situation, yeah. And is your background also something relevant to who you are today?
Well, I don't really connect my ethnicity or my nationality with my gender preference or with my identity itself. It's just that's something that's part of me, but my identity as non-binary does not inflict with that.
Yeah, and one more question, because you're going to high school right now. Education is always key in these kind of matters, I believe. Has that affected your identification because of education as well? Did you come in contact with the whole identification as non-binary through school, or how did you get there?
Well, as a teen, you're often online at like Instagram and other social media, and that through that I found some other non-binary people and some other trans people, and I started the conversation with them. I just became friends with them, and that was back when I didn't identify as non-binary, and that kind of got me into contact with the term and the identity.
Okay, so what I think is that maybe the curiosity and the quest, and maybe that's what you mean, I don't know, is also connected to your educational skills or, well, your curiosity.
Who do you meet?
Can you introduce yourself too? Because I have tons of questions, but
What's your background?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I am half Dutch, half Liberian. My dad is from Liberia, which is in West Africa. And I understand what you're saying about how your identity of being half Ukrainian and being queer maybe has nothing to do with each other. But I was kind of curious to see how these things interact with each other.
Yeah.
How so?
Because I feel like there's different part of your identity that intersect with each other that all make you into the person that you are. So maybe my experience as a black queer person in the Netherlands can be different than a white queer person in the Netherlands or a black straight person in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I am curious about how these things.
You do take that with you, your heritage.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, and and what do you do now? For work or education, or where are you in life?
I am a freelance photographer.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I mainly work in the queer community. So, for example, gay magazines, movies, just organizations, stuff like that. And to circle back to what we were just talking about, sometimes I do personal projects as well.
Yeah.
But I actually went to Liberia to photograph the queer community there because I really wanted to see how these different identities interacted with each other.
Last year we had a remarkable lady from, well, it's not the same country, but from Uganda, who had a heartbroken story. How is the situation, just a little side of, in Liberia? Is that for the queer community? How is that? I have no idea.
Well, it is illegal to be queer or to practice homosexuality in Liberia, but people are still doing it, and people are still, organizing their own marriages and throwing their own parties in, private places rather than public places. But it kind of depends.
People are
where
themselves.
You are.
You cannot
exactly.
restrain yourself, right?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on where you are in society to, how much you can get away with.
Yeah.
How liberal also your community is, it your immediate community?
The people around you,
right,
for sure.
Right.
So, well, thank you for introducing yourself. I have loads of questions. You maybe too. If I ask too much, just tell me. But because, like you're saying, I would like to prefer to be a name they or them. Yeah. You say, I don't give a for other countries. Fuck. Is that a different step in the process, or is it just a different spectrum, or for me to understand? I mean, it's all good, but
yeah, I think there's different ways that people who are non-binary feel. There's now one label for it, but there's people who feel fluid. There's people who feel like they're in between. There's people who feel like they're outside of the spectrum. Or some feel like it's a third gender, and others say no, it's definitely not a third gender.
Yeah.
So it's just one umbrella term for a lot of different things. And for me personally, the reason why I choose they, them, and nothing else is for people to see me the way that I feel, because I am a little bit afraid that if I say all pronouns are okay, that people will just always call me she, her. And never really think about my gender and just see me the way that they've always seen me, which is not the way that I feel.
How do you experience that? Because you do say...
Oh yeah, I did experience that for a while, because my first year of coming to terms with being non-binary, I went by they, them pronouns for the same reason. That I want to be seen as me and not as a girl or not with the pronoun she, her,
Yeah.
but I learned that people did it regardless.
Yeah.
So I kind of just did my own thing, and I used the pronouns that make me most comfortable.
Yeah.
So you kind of they also say, you know, when you use the word faggot, the gays are taking that back because, you know, as it's not a
Reclaiming.
You reclaimed kind of she, her, and just said, you know what, fine.
Yeah.
I will translate it
Yeah,
in
it
the way that I
became
feel.
tiring to correct
Yes.
people. But like, no, it's they, them, and not everyone understands that, and I can't
No.
expect everyone to get it right immediately.
Yeah, I think it's also. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I think it's also important to remember that pronouns do not equal someone's gender.
Yeah.
So someone may say, oh, my pronouns are she, her, but I identify as non-binary or even as a man, or the other way around. People can prefer they, them. You know, there's all different reasons.
Yeah.
From personal preference to grammar to safety to, you know.
With the next step being your gender identification doesn't resemble your sexual preference.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's
there are a
something
lot of people who
interesting.
don't
Yeah.
see that difference. Of course, older people.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong. We had the priest of the big church in Rotterdam, the Lawrence Church, Harold Schoor, as a guest, and he said something really beautiful. He said, "Listen, which road you take as a person, if you come to the station where you feel comfortable the way you are, and you can tell people, friends, family, please give your loved ones and the people around you the same time it took you to get there,
Yes.
because it's not a judgment, but people need to get there too."
Yeah, need to adjust.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit like that. It's absolutely no judgment, but I missed the train somewhere.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think that most non-binary people would not get angry at you if you get the pronouns wrong, because we also understand that, you know, if you've been saying he or she for however old you are, however many years.
Yeah, and maybe something
is,
really out of line. But I mean, when we're having fun and he's walking upstairs, I'm saying, "Oh, is she going upstairs?" I mean, it's something different, but it's also because of the role you feel in at that moment, or not that serious, but something else. Maybe it's coincidence. You're half Dutch, you're half Dutch, half Ukrainian, half Liberian.
Liberian, yes. Sorry.
You know what I have in my mind the whole time? Liberian girl. I'm sorry, Michael Jackson. We will have Jennie Lena as a guest later in this episode, and she did a Michael Jackson tour. That's why. Does that maybe have something to do with the fact that you are more open to? Okay, I want to search who I really am and how I want to be seen and named, because maybe you're half Ukrainian, half Dutch, half Liberian, half Dutch, never 100% Dutch or 100% Ukrainian. I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence, but it's.
Well, I never made that connection.
That's my mind.
I never made that connection between my nationality and my gender identity, because I don't know. I think they're whole different matters. They're both me, but I don't see them as connected. I don't know if you have another experience in that.
I think it's kind of the other way around for me, where I think I accepted I was queer before I accepted that I was black, which sounds strange because you think, oh, but you see your skin, you're black. That's very obvious. But I think because being queer is almost, not to compare or put things on a scale, but maybe more accepted in the Netherlands than being black. Like people would, for example, tell me, "Oh, you're a bounty," because it's the type of chocolate that's white on the inside. Because they couldn't imagine me being black but still being fun to hang out with. So you must be white on the inside.
But it's really a human thing, because I'm really happy to have a broad spectrum of friends, and I also have a lot of black friends, and they say that even amongst black people there is racism between color, the darker, the lighter. Yeah, and it's something you never hear about, but it's a big problem in communities. So can you, going along that way, can you two please explain us and maybe the viewers, what is the binary and non-binary spectrum? Yeah, hey, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
And maybe like trans as a umbrella.
Well, yeah, you have transgender as an umbrella term, and under that you have the binary spectrum, which is mostly like trans man and trans woman. And then you have the non-binary spectrum, which is everything outside of that, everything between,
Okay.
including non-binary, genderqueer, agender, whatever
Fluid.
label. Yeah, for instance, whatever label you prefer, or even no label. So the non-binary spectrum is, I think, a lot broader compared to the binary spectrum, because most people see the binary spectrum as just man and just woman. And of course there's stuff in between, but you can also see that as part of the non-binary spectrum, I believe.
And do you think, sorry, last question for me. Do you think that this might be a step acknowledging that there are so many different, flavors, that maybe in a few years there will not be a necessity of a difference between the non-binary and the binary spectrum? Because it's just, okay, anyone can be what he wants or who he wants to be. It's like a utopia, right? I understand. But do you think this might be the road going there?
I think that the Netherlands as a whole is becoming more accepting of trans people, because now we can also put on our passports, instead of a M or an F, you can put an X for non-binary, which I think is very progressive, because not a lot of countries have that, and it's becoming more...
Have you identified in your passport a different than the way... Okay.
No, I don't, because I don't want my mom to know. But...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little sidestep. Can we know each other?
We do.
We know each other. But no, seriously. Last year we did our first show of Pride Summer Week, and we did Pride and Gender. And you immediately said, "I want in. I want to tell my story. I want to tell." You were 17, and I found that so brave. You needed parental
permission.
Thank you. And that wasn't possible. And I also told you, okay, please wait another year, because maybe TV is TV, and if it's online, it's online. It will never go away.
Yeah.
And still, this year we made season 2, and you were like, "Hello, I'm here," and queer. But I'm really proud of that.
Thank you.
For someone, it's a strong thing to do.
Yeah, thank you.
It is.
Just sidestep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we can have a little applause for that, baby. No? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one topic that I really want to get across as well. There is this thing called gender dysphoria.
Yes.
What is that exactly?
Well, a short way to describe it is the discomfort with your own body.
Okay.
Because, for example, top dysphoria, which means that you're not comfortable with your chest. Doesn't matter if you're trans man or trans woman. Could be that you think you're too flat, or you think you have too many curves, or your chest is too big, and that could really affect the way you see yourself.
But you cannot compare that to like a straight woman who thinks her chest is too small. That's something totally different. It's like the awkwardness in being in the wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it's your own body.
Yeah.
Which,
because all gay men want a bigger chest, so it's something else.
Not all, but
You do.
okay.
Well, like I said, you have top dysphoria, but you also have bottom dysphoria, which is that you're not comfortable with your own genitalia.
Okay.
Oh.
So, for instance, with a trans man who didn't have the surgery, they feel like that their genitalia is not for them. It's the wrong body, and they want to change that. They want a male genitalia.
Because they're opposite on how they feel as a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we say that you are trapped in the wrong body?
Well, yeah.
What they used to say, or is that a wrong?
Well, they often say that, but I don't think you're trapped in a wrong
born.
body. It's just that your body, you have to make it your own.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Especially as non-binary, because there's so many different ways that your body can be as non-binary. One person may be uncomfortable with one thing, and someone else might be and someone else might be uncomfortable with another thing. So especially as non-binary, you really have to make it.
And just for the people at home, that's not that has nothing to do with Botox and fillers and making your body the way you want it. It's something totally different.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it sounds funny to you, but there's so much unknown about it, and I think we have a really nice position now to open up
Yes.
and make it happen. No, and explain it to people.
Yeah. Okay. And so it has, what you kind of say is body positivity is something, a very big thing then when it comes to non-binary people.
Yes.
Because that term is also in the straight world or whatever world
With
you're
Dove
in.
and
We showcase it. Can I make the assumption that every non-binary has some sort of body positivity issue?
I don't think. I think body positivity is more of a thing that comes with. So every non-binary person can look the way that they want to look. So you might be non-binary but express very feminine. You might express very masculine, or somewhere in the middle, and you might be comfortable with one thing or another thing. But because we've been in the community, we've been pushing a little bit for. You don't have to look a certain way to be non-binary. It feels very positive. It feels very much like, oh, you don't have to change yourself. You can be whoever you are and still be non-binary.
Yeah, you feel more accepted.
But also it's really beautiful because it's for me it's like the opposite of a new word for a modern world, like the cancel culture. If you make a mistake, you're out as a person, as a total. Go away.
Exactly. But
and this is more open, like you can be who you are. We accept you. You know. How do you, maybe not on the cards, but how do you feel about the cancel culture, and how do you look at that, especially when you're on a journey or in a position like this where you are much more open-minded and you want people to be open-minded?
Well, can we go back to the last question?
Yes,
I think
of
it's very
course.
important that
Yes,
I finish
yeah.
a small point about it. So the positivity is very good. It's that you can look the way that you want to look when you're non-binary, but that doesn't mean that I think the moment that it gets toxic is when people are too focused on you don't have to change yourself to be non-binary, whereas some people do really need to transition and need certain surgeries
in order for them
to feel the way that they
toxicness is also a sort of judgment, right? Like you want to change, I don't think you need to change, so you shouldn't change.
Exactly.
Yes.
I just quickly want to say, where can people find you and your photography?
Where can we find you? Because we need photography.
It's Tengbéh Kamara, so Tengbeh. Kamara. Kamara.
We will put it under.
Yeah, we'll put it under.
Where can people find you?
Yes.
On my Instagram. It's BOOB F4CE _.
We'll put it on there as well. But I would like to thank you very much for this conversation.
Yeah, and maybe we will continue our talk with Deen and Marie-Léa, but maybe we can do a crossover with the topic. So stay here, please, if you want, at the table there. We also have a smashing performance coming ahead from Jennie Lena. Do you know Jennie Lena?
No, I'm sorry.
She will do a beautiful number, a song called "Who's Loving You." Love you. Who's loving you?
Yeah.
So, you know, amazing voice. Okay.
We'll be right back.
Here we are again, this time around with Jennie Lena, one of the greatest singers from the Netherlands, and internationally she's acclaimed as well. Hi, welcome to our show. So how are you and what are you up to these days?
I'm fine. I was like taking.
Yeah, that's always.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy we're allowed to, perform again and do our thing. And yeah, I just finished the tour, and now I'm starting to write new music.
Okay, that sounds very exciting. So you've performed many times on Pride as well. Have you fond memories of that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, for sure. Pride is always one of the most expressive, joyful performances, and one of my fondest memories is performing on one of the boats in the canals. It was incredible because like everywhere you go there are people on besides the canals kilometers and kilometers, people screaming, shouting, crazy.
Amazing. So you're going to sing a song for us today. Which song is that?
This song is called Who's Loving You.
Take it away.
Will do.
Well, you can't deny that that was a spectacular performance. Welcome back. We have two new guests who have arrived, and we first off want to start off by asking you.
Oh, welcome first.
Welcome. Yes. I'm sorry. Welcome, and could you please introduce yourself and how you are preferred to be with your preferred pronouns, really? Let's start with you. Yeah. Oh,
you can start.
Ladies first.
Yeah,
Ladies first.
right.
No, yeah, you're right.
So my name is Marie-Léa Morales. I'm 27 years of age. I am an active member of the ballroom scene, where I walk the categories Vogue, runway, and I am also a commentator, which can be seen as an MC. And my pronouns are she and her.
And we work together once.
And we work together once.
For an opening of a club in Rotterdam. I love ballroom. Watch everything you can find on ballroom.
Yeah, watch Pose, watch Paris is Burning, watch all of the good stuff.
Yes, Paris is Burning as well. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome.
It's hard to top that though.
Deen.
Yeah, it's just Deen. So I'm Deen. My pronouns are he, him, they, them, and I'm a social educator on trans rights and trans healthcare. And I also try to manifest more diversity and inclusion towards the queer community in regards to businesses and social organizations.
And how do you start doing that? How do you approach businesses? Do you call them and say, "Hey, listen,
No, normally
I've got
they
something to tell you"?
no normally they approach me. Luckily,
Oh wow.
just when they feel like okay, there's something missing in regard to queer organization or anything within the company. So a few weeks ago, I gave a lecture about trans healthcare to Dutch word for the English word for praktijkondersteuners. GED,
GPO, something like that.
Oh, GPO,
General
yeah, yeah, oh
practitioner.
yeah, yeah.
General practitioner.
General practitioner. So a few weeks ago, I gave a lecture to the assistant of general practitioners about trans healthcare and how the general practitioner could actually help for trans people because the waiting list is way too long. And the thing is that general practitioners actually can do quite a lot. They can even prescribe hormones, and a lot of them don't know that. And that's all because of the gender mistreatment that we have in the Netherlands. We have a monopoly on gender health care, but we don't actually help trans people at this moment. So I try to educate people on that and to know, to let them know they have rights to actually help trans people further in their transition from the bottom start.
Both your experiences there? Because you talk about that the healthcare system is not really working in favor of trans people. You both are you both fully transitioned or are you in process of
fully transitioned isn't the correct term.
Okay,
no,
it varies per person, I guess.
We had a very different course, I think. In that.
Especially I think we're both in the process of a medical transition. Is how we would get it then.
Okay.
Because you were, sorry, that's the old guy again. You were born.
Like me, but I used some tools to become more like myself.
Okay.
Because I think that because you call it AFAB or AMAB or AI map, even like you're assigned female, male, or intersex at birth, and those are the abbreviations of those terms. But the thing is that people, and especially people that don't align with us having rights, I feel like they're centered way too much on the way that we are born, but not on the process that how we become ourselves. And I think that's way more important to focus on that.
And it's also a broad spectrum because
100%.
Earlier this week we had Pride in Sports, and we talked about inclusion or fair play. Meaning, so every sports association in the world wants fair play, but do they want inclusion? Because if you went to transition and you now want to be seen, for instance, as a woman, as a she, and you want to, and you're doing really well in your sport, you want to go to the Olympics, you can't.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
And even if you take medicine to lower certain levels, you're still not allowed to go. And when are you? And when are you accepted, the person that you are in sports? So it's.
And how's your experience been in the healthcare sector when it comes to?
How it started off pretty bad, actually.
Yeah.
I remember I had to send a letter to The View in Amsterdam, which has a gender like poly.
Which is the university?
No, the hospital.
University hospital. Yes. Amsterdam.
And they were a bit careless with that because I was living at home and they sent a letter to my mom's home, and being
she didn't know.
I think no, she didn't know. I think most mothers, especially when you're like at the tender age of 18, they will still open up your letters and your mails, and I felt like. There's reasonable, intelligent, I presume, adults working at this hospital. I feel like you could factor that in, that 100%. This might become a problem. So that's how it started. Then
you got outed by The View.
I got outed by The View. My mom, I got home and my mom was like, "What is that?" And I just looked at it and I was like, "I don't recognize this. I've never had a letter from these people." And I was like, "Oh my God!" It was literally my heart just.
How do you feel now about it? Did it help you maybe to get a little? Don't get me wrong, but
like a little push, maybe. Like
looking back at it, at the time, not at all, of course. But do you prefer that you
I
would
mean,
have
it
done it in your own way?
It did set things in motion,
Yeah.
which should have been set in motion a long time ago. So I feel like in that sense, it just made things work and made the process start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have preferred to do it on my own time, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's how it didn't turn out. And then obviously the waiting lists were just terrible. It was 2 years.
Can I ask you how your mother reacted? Eventually. At first and eventually.
She was shocked. I think everyone was very shocked. They didn't expect that. I was already living my life as I was identifying as a gay man back then, a very effeminate gay man. And I think for them that was just it. Yeah, then she saw the letter, she was shocked, everybody was shocked, and they were like, well, no, you're not gonna do this. And I was like, well, yes, I am going to do this.
Brave.
You have to be a very strong
and
person.
brave.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
was
very admirable.
it was a tough period for my family. I actually we had a fight, and in that fight I was packing my bags, and then I moved out, and I didn't talk to them for, I guess, almost 2 years.
Wow.
And something so at that age so ingrijpend. So,
Defining.
yeah, to do in your life.
Yeah.
You want the support of your family.
Yeah,
want
you
the
shouldn't
support of your
have
friends.
to be away from your family. You shouldn't have to choose between being yourself and being comfortable and being surrounded by the people who you love and who you want to be loved by. And just
that
it's
now?
just now it's
Your
different. Like
yes?
she introduces me as her daughter
Ah,
to
so
people
cool.
and all of that. But I actually got this from her.
Nice.
Oh,
That's good taste,
so-
though.
And
So-
she should be damn proud, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's all of that.
And you, Deen, you drastically, when you became aware that you really wanted to have some sort of transition, you drastically changed your life. In what way?
I think for you, it started with growing out your hair. For me, it was cutting off my hair.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Something so simple as
Yeah,
that,
and it
right?
was before I actually made the decision to come out to my family. So a handful of friends already knew because I told them before I moved to Suriname, because I went to Suriname just to be alone with myself and get through that stage and just see like what actually is my identity, because I just found out by what non-binary was and what transmasculine was. And
What age were you then when you went to Suriname?
it was just before the pandemic hit, so it was like end November 2009.
23.
Yeah.
But
So-
guys, come on, that's I think that's really remarkable at a difficult and a transitional age in everything.
Yeah.
Making that decision, going on your own to Suriname.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Actually, the pandemic was my blessing. Because
Oh.
people just thought that I just left the country, and obviously I came back, and people that knew me knew that, obviously, but
No.
I couldn't go to a grocery shop and be worrying about my identity, which I would normally would, because I wouldn't go to the grocery store as often anymore. I wouldn't go onto
You
the
would really
streets as
avoid
much.
it.
Well, it was a
Or-
pandemic. Everyone
you
was
couldn't. You
inside.
just
Yeah,
simply
so I
couldn't.
just
Yeah,
I was just
sorry,
alone
yes.
in my room with my
Yeah.
thoughts, and it really helped me get more insight of what I was actually feeling. And I turned 25 on the 29th of April in 2020, and I thought, what the hell? I'm 25 years old and I haven't lived a day as myself. And it very saddens me. And from the moment I came out of the closet to my mom, I never had a blue day anymore. And I battled depression for like 16 years of my life already.
But I must say, I totally understand what you're saying, but in many different ways. There are people of 50, 60 that still haven't lived it.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it has
That's
maybe nothing to do
sad.
with transition or whatever.
Yeah.
But being able to be who they want to be.
It's
As a
intersectional.
person.
It's not conclusive just for queer people, obviously, because
no.
there are a lot of fake people in this world.
Oh,
Yeah, also fake towards himself mostly.
Nothing
Yeah.
to do with gender.
No.
I feel like from the moment when you're born, that first scream you make when you pop out, that's the most genuine, most pure scream you ever have.
Yeah.
After that, it becomes layers and expectations of people and how you're supposed to be. And I feel like
Nature, nurture.
we as trans people, that by default is an obvious reaction to defying that. Like, hey, we love ourselves so much that we don't want to be the layers anymore. We don't want to be these expectations. We're tired of living something that we're not. We want to be ourselves.
And you should.
Yeah, and I feel like that triggers a lot of people as well
Yeah.
because they look at that and maybe
It's
like
confronting,
subconsciously
yeah.
it's like confronting. Like I'm not living my truth, and it doesn't have to mean that
Well-
they're queer or trans or whatever,
Yeah.
but maybe they're stuck somewhere
Yeah.
and not doing
In
what they
whatever
wanna
they
do,
are,
in
yeah.
whatever, in a
Yeah.
job or something,
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just thinking.
in a
Such a
job
beautiful
or
word, yeah.
something like that,
In my
yeah.
family, well, I cannot do it anymore. Sorry, Ellen. So anyway, if you look at that and you see what your travel was in the Netherlands, and wherever we're talking about the trans help, still on the international lists, as a country, we are tumbling down.
Yeah, I saw
Every
recently.
liberal
Yeah.
list
We're-
for
yesterday,
the
yeah.
We're 30 now?
LGBTIQ+.
Yeah,
Yeah.
13th, yeah.
Yeah.
But it
like
is
in the 90s, we were
intersectional, by the
number
way.
one. No, I
It
know.
isn't
No, I know.
intersectional
It's not.
because
Yes,
if you
true.
go to the intersectional layers, and there are like 7 pillars to do that, we're
Yeah.
actually like 29 or
Yeah.
something.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
we're
Okay,
not
that's
as
even worse.
well.
That's even
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
Language.
That's even deep worse.
Yeah.
No, but that's
It's weird to come by.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I can imagine that people that are not close in contact with transitions or whatever think, oh, we're such a liberal country, or people who are not gay or don't know gay people or lesbians or whatever. We're so liberal. No, we're not.
It's a very nice country to live if you're
of
white,
course.
thin, cis, gay men.
Able-bodied.
Able-bodied, especially.
I'm old.
And also
I'm old.
speaking the language as well.
Yeah.
I think that's you have like I think 12 pillars to having the ultimate nice gay life that you can live, but it isn't intersectional.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I can just.
also
Plau is the only gay party I actually know where it's wheelchair accessible. Actually,
Yeah.
I can't
Really?
think of
Wow.
any other one in.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wheelchair accessible.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's the only one because I went last Saturday.
Last Saturday.
last Saturday. Last
Oh,
Saturday.
Dane's on a roll now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Meiden.
Meiden, yeah. Girlies. I went
Kom,
last.
Lotte.
Ja, we hadden bij moeten zijn, hè? No, I went last Saturday to a party and I saw
Which one?
2 people. It's Klau. It's warm, right?
Warm, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you also have Wunderbar next to it, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
always
know
worried
Warm.
about
Yeah.
warm.
Go to
It's the
Warm.
only place I know with a big enough elevator because that's also a problem that fits different kind of wheelchairs. And it's the first gay party that I had
Fell from
2.
stage there. It's this high. I fell
Yeah.
off and
On
I
stage? Oh my god.
Well, break a
It's
leg.
tiny.
No. It's the only place I know.
I totally agree. As you
Yeah.
know, we organize events, well, you know, in normal day life. And more and more we get, thankfully, the questions, is it accessible for everyone?
Yeah.
Is every a location where we go, is it accessible for everyone? If not, we don't want that location, we want different location.
But the thing is, it's not even like wheelchairs, like things that are that should be more visible. Let's be honest, because a lot of people still don't do it. But it's also providing bins in the men's toilet for men who menstruate, for instance,
right.
because
Yeah,
people
yeah,
also
yes,
don't
those-
think about
those types of
that.
things.
Yeah,
Right,
it's being accessible and inclusive. It means a lot of things, and you need people that know things
Right.
about that.
So-
Yeah.
and that's also, I want to quickly ask also about allies, because when people need to make those kind of decisions in order for you guys to feel more comfortable in certain situations, in certain rooms, you need allies to take that further, because the trans community, of course, is small in itself. So what does an ally need to do, and how is an ally really representing you?
Shit.
I think actually it's the best question for you, just for the role that you have in the Rotterdam ballroom scene, because I think the allyship there has more of rules for how to behave when you're in a queer space.
Yeah.
And I think that's a general rule
Should
that
dance.
we should have in all of queer.
What are those
intersections.
kind of rules in the
Yeah,
ballroom
definitely at a ball, we're aware that there's a lot of people there who are, cis or even straight, and that they're not aware of how you should conduct yourself in this space. And then we would have a moment before or even during where we would just explain, you don't do this, you don't take up space. If you see someone who you know is queer, like, let them have the space, let them go to the front, because this is a queer space centered about queerness, so we should be at the forefront, And also there's this one category called sex siren, and it's a category where you exude your sensuality, but it's very vulnerable as well, you know, because some of these people are naked or half naked,
Oh, right.
and the people who don't know will film automatically. So we will stop that. We will stop the beat, stop the music, be like, hold up.
That's not
That's
happening.
a definite no-go. If we see anyone filming further, you're being kicked out.
Yeah.
How would you feel if we would ask the other two to join us? We just
100%.
Yes,
do it.
Absolutely.
and have like
Absolutely.
the last 10 minutes of the show and
have the conversation all together.
Let's do it.
Yeah, right.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Shall we do
Let
that?
me-
So
let me make
let's
space.
open up. Like to join us?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Oh, just
join us in the there.
Nice.
Okay, so this is a first actually in the series that we are with so many people on the couch.
That's very
So
true
let's
indeed.
hope
Exciting.
it will be okay. Yeah, but it's nice. So let's switch roles. We will not be.
Okay. So, how do you feel?
Exactly.
No, what I'm trying to
Honestly,
say is
yeah.
go with the flow and the things you would like to say or would like to address.
Is there really something that you feel like that you
That you
always
want-
wanted to say to everybody that's gonna watch? Like, oh, for God's sake, this needs to happen. Or
And also maybe for people that are watching that are at the start of the road that you went through and that are now at home thinking,
Yeah, so I would want to say something to like my fellow cisgender people is that you see a lot people want us in their plays in acting in whatever. They want to see representation, you know. They trans has been like a hot topic for the last 4 years, and it's even growing like more and more and more. But the thing is, it doesn't stop with representation. It's like, what else are you doing to make sure that we are able to navigate these spaces safely?
Yeah.
Are you hiring us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you tackling transphobia within your friend groups and your families, which might be a bit uncomfortable, but going through that uncomfortableness is where we can grow and where we can, like, as a society as a whole, finally move
so
forward.
is it more like a marketing gimmick?
Yeah,
for,
tokenism. I think you're
Yeah,
talking
it's a
about
lot. It's a lot. We're
tokenism,
always
yeah.
like the token. We always want to be. People want to, I guess, use us.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's the whole thing with
associate
tokenism.
Associate with trans people to make them look better.
Yeah, to make them look better.
Make it profitable.
To make it profitable.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's,
that's
as I
also
said
better,
before, it's
yeah.
a hot topic, and it's like it works. You know, like if there's a trans person, I've seen. Like every single new show that comes out, there's at least like one trans character, you know, and it's like,
It's always about the struggle.
and it's like, this
Yeah.
this fake diversity isn't going
Yeah.
to last long. It's like how many people are working, for instance, maybe behind the
but
scenes,
it's not
you know, in the
sincere.
show.
It's
not
more,
sincere.
it's
Yeah.
more.
They use trans
yeah.
people
And
to be
advertisement,
woke and
yeah.
to seem like they're progressive
Yeah.
and accepting. While they only use us for, like you said, marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on camera, but not behind the scenes.
Not
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
And,
And
not
it-
employing and not paying.
Yeah.
And it's not transparent to how far
To the-
transparent. I'm gonna
So
be
funny.
one
That
one
was a
day.
TV show.
Yeah.
That was a TV show.
Oh,
actually.
yeah, it was,
Transparent.
yeah.
Can I compare it to what like 20 years, 30 years ago in?
I wasn't alive then.
No.
No.
I finished, yeah.
Me neither. Me neither. That's okay. About what with TV shows there was one black person and that was so we have one black person.
Yeah, and also
in
with Latina and also with people that are handicapped and everything. I think that tokenism goes a very long way, and it's good to see representation, even if it's so small, because for me a small person made big difference, and I think I can speak for all of you as well, that like
Yes.
one person made maybe the difference for you.
Yeah,
And that's good, but we need to see more transparency in a way that we are being used and being facilitated. And I think that's the thing. Are you using us, or are you
Yeah.
facilitating a better space for us? And I think that's the big difference on both. We like to see us as well,
yeah.
but we want to see the repercussions of it as well.
For you guys, for non-binary people, you don't have that many representation necessarily. What's the reason for that, do you think? Do you consider yourself a role model for others?
Should I talk?
I mean, I do not see myself as a role model in the sense that I'm not famous or have a lot of followers or anything. But I do
No,
it in
can
my
be
own
small.
small
But
ways.
if I
in
could
the
just
sense
can
that-
intervene, you are a role model to me though, because I'm seeing a non-binary creative person, and for me that's very important to see that, even though we know each other. Even so, you're still a role model to me, even though we're at different places in our identity and our outgoing presence, I guess, you're still a role model. Yeah, 100%.
And even talking in one show, I can totally agree with the fact that you're a role model, trying to be who you want to be and who you are, and pursuing that. There are a lot of people that are afraid to do so.
Yeah.
So for that, for me, you're all role models.
We
At
should
a
be
young
more
age.
proud of ourselves. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True. I think it's very important to note right now is that you're sitting right here in this spot doing a talk show about who you are. So you are individually a role model. Maybe one person, someone is attracted to your story, and you've already helped them in being a role model.
I hope so.
It's, I think
Yeah,
we all
that's-
are in that sense.
Yeah, that's true. Like we talked about earlier, you can have a lot of different ways to be non-binary. So maybe the way that I practice being non-binary is relatable to some people.
Yeah.
When
And-
the way that you practice it
Yeah,
might be relatable
yeah.
to others.
And you can
Exactly.
be a hero for someone without you knowing that you're a hero. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a grand act.
You can
Like I just said, it can be a small person of 12 years old, not knowing what's going on, seeing you on the couch here, hearing your stories and thinking, oh wow,
Yeah.
you know?
It's possible.
Big change
Yeah.
can be in small things.
Yes.
100%.
And I totally
As you
agree.
said yourself, Deen, you had someone who did something very small.
Yeah.
Was a big thing for you.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people can do more than they think they can.
As an individual.
Yeah,
you
100%.
mean?
I mean, it's also like sharing information or correcting people when they're using the wrong pronouns or facilitating small things. But it can also be just listening to a person that is struggling with
Right.
certain
Yeah.
feelings
Listen
or
to each other, yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that
Being there.
talking is our strength, and I think the queer community has always had that the way that we can express ourselves, that's
for
our
sure.
unique thing that makes us queer. I think our expression
Yes.
is the same, is a synonym of being
Yeah.
queer.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
expression, like the way how
Yeah,
you
it
do
goes
that.
hand in
Yeah.
hand.
100%. I agree
And
with
being
that.
your unique own personality and being brave enough
Yeah.
to be the one that you want to be, that makes
Yeah.
you very, very unique. And
Unique and beautiful,
exactly.
100%.
Absolutely. So maybe to round this up as well, I would first like to thank you all very much for coming. It's been extraordinary. It's been a lesson to us.
Extremely.
So I hope to people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Watching
Yeah.
as well. If people want to, I've asked this also to you guys, but if people want to find you and join your journey, I think that's the appropriate thing to say. Where can they find you?
Oh Lord, I have a very Dutch Instagram handle.
We'll put it,
We'll put it on
Zeg maar Deen. Yeah, on Instagram. Or just Google Translate, just say Deen, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just do meiden het is zaterdag.
Yeah, it can also be possible. Yeah.
And for me, it's just my name, Marie-Léa Morales. I guess
On
we'll just
in-
put it on the
socials?
screen.
Yes, we
Right
will.
here.
And they can follow your journey.
So thank you very much for sharing your story, informing us, and informing a lot of people watching from all over Europe. If we get some reactions, we will let you know. But if there's only that one person that you helped, this
Yes.
was
Yeah,
so
even
worthy,
That's what we're
right?
doing it for.
So big applause
Thank
for
you
yourself.
very much indeed. Thank you. And thank you for watching. We'll see you.
For the next episode, the fifth one, which is gonna be Pride and Politics. We will discuss the LGBTIQ plus rights in Europe, but also in the Netherlands, with someone from the Dutch Senate, and also with someone from the European Parliament. So that can be very
Exciting.
interesting.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
It's been upside down, it's been crazy.